Hello everyone, my name is Didintu. Today I'm going to present you about the audiolingual method. There will be three main ideas in my presentation. The approach of the audiolingual method, the design and the procedure they use in this method. Before I tell you about these three main ideas, I would like to explain you a brief history of the audiolingual method. The audiolingual method was developed as a reaction to grammar translation method. So grammar translation method had been used for many years, but it takes so long for the learner to be able to speak in target language. So in 1942 in the United States, during the World War II, the government went quick will to learn the foreign language. So the government set up a special training programs for the military personnel. Many of the university were involved in it, and so at the time the audiolingual method was also called the army method. So now let's move to the approach of the audiolingual method. The theory of language of this method is based on the view called structuralism. It means that language is a system of structurally related elements for the encoding meaning. It means that the structure is the main idea of this language method. So when we are learning a language by this method, at first we will learn the basic structures to the complex structures of the language. For example, at first you will learn phoneme to morpheme to words, words to phrases and clauses, and finally to the sentence structures. And there is an important belief for this audiolingual method, that is an aura is the median of the language. So speech is very important, and it is pointed out that speaking is the first priority, then writing is the second one. So audiolinguistic method language theory assumes that speech has a priority in language teaching. Another thing is the theory of the learning. The theory of learning of audiolingual method is behaviorism, which means it is based on the approach to the study of the human behavior. Learning a language is seem to be reserved from the repetition and drilling of the grammars and structure in this method. Instead of focusing on the vocabulary, the audiolingual method focus on the grammar structures. So now let's move to the design of the audiolingual method. In the design, there's many elements include like the objectives, the syllabus, and the roles of teachers and students, and the instructional materials, and etc. But among them, I would like to focus only on the roles of teachers and students. So what are the roles of teacher in language teaching by using this method? Teacher-centered method is used in this method, which means teacher is control the whole class, and teacher set as a model for the target language, and the teacher is responsible for correcting the mistake that the students have done, and teachers create the situation to practice the languages, the lessons, and the grammars that the students learn. So here grilling and repetition is very important, and in language learning is seen to result from the verbal interaction between the students and teacher. So an extensive oral instruction is used between the students and teachers. So what about the learners? What are the learners' role? The learner's role is to respond to the teacher. They have to listen carefully to the teacher, and they have to repeat and grade. And learners do not allowed to do the mistake in this method. So they are not encouraged to start the conversation. Instead, they will imitate accurately what the teacher has said, like correct pronunciation, grammar, and tones. Just like this, they will imitate and they will use it. So in this way, the learner learn a new form of verbal behaviors. Now, let's move to the last part of the presentation, which is the procedures that used in the audiolingual method. The procedures that used in this method is pretty simple. They are like first, if you use the audiolingual method in teaching, first the students will hear a dialogue or a conversation read by the teachers or by the audio, and they will listen to it, and they will repeat it, and finally they will memorize line by line again and again, and then they will use like the keyword or another phrase, and they will substitute in the structures that they learn, and they will add out in the class. And then after that, at the time they will look at to the book, or they will look at the book, but later they will refer to their book, and they will write some short sentence, or they will compose by what they have learned. And so this is the brief procedures that used in the audiolingual method. Now it's bring to the end of my presentation. Before I end, I would like to tell one more thing, that how the audiolingual method has become decline. So there are some advantages of using audiolingual method, like the students are very active in the classroom because they have to pay attention to the teachers, and the students improve better pronunciation and the verbal learning, like that. But the disadvantages of using this method is that the learners are sometimes bored or unsatisfying of the procedure used by this method, and the lessons that they have learned in the classroom are very difficult to use outside in the real community, just like this. And because the learners learn the grammar and the structures without knowing the meaning, it is very difficult for them. So between 1960, this language is the most popular, and it was applying to both teaching English as a second language, and both teaching foreign language in the United States. But it has declined according to these weaknesses. But in some part of the world it is still using. So This is the end of my presentation, and I hope you will learn something about the audiolingual method, that the history and the approach to this method and the design that they have used, and the procedures that they use in this audiolingual method. So thank you everyone. Thank you for watching until the end.